Hey guys, once again, I am the Tenkaichi of Gaming, PI7, and, well, this month, we've lost another great pioneer, and that person happened to be Hiroshi Yamauchi. Now, let's see. I think I'm going to do a little bit of both. Do a little bit playing and a little bit watching. So, what can I say about a pioneer in his own time? The thing about certain legends, or how one person can somehow, how one person can actually change the whole dynamics of say, a company like Nintendo. It's totally amazing, you know. I mean, this guy has been around since, well, Nintendo was originally a card company. It did trading cards long before it did video games. And before there was the Nintendo Entertainment System, there was the Game & Watch. The Game & Watch was Nintendo's first ever console. For those who do know this, for those who don't, you guys should know. But if you who don't know, well, he's been around for the longest time. The fact that he's gone now, well, it kind of it kind of makes us as gamers kind of feel like, okay, we should pay respect to somebody who basically revolutionized Nintendo because he may be the third president Nintendo's ever had, but he's been around since, shall we say, day one. I, as a gamer, can pretty much say, you know, I have respect for anyone who has been in a company for that long, and that's pretty much has been there since day one. And I saw through from the company, from the old days to now, because he has been around since the last generational console, which was the Wii. Sad thing is, you know, well, it's not a sad thing, but fact is, Nintendo has been around for so long. Many a gamer have grown up with Nintendo. It's like second to, say, an Atari. Because the Nintendo has been around in the US since the early 80s. Or the mid 80s, I should say. And for what it was worth, you got like 3 games. As compared to, it was like the Atari in which, you had 1 game. But when the original NES came out, you got NES was like this. You got not only 2 controllers, but you got a light gun, a robot, and 3 games. And then later, a power pad. You had all this coming from one company that went far and beyond the Call of Duty, just for its fans. Just because, hey, we've been around. This is what we're going to give to you. And for that, I had to say, it's a good thing. I mean, I wish certain companies were to do that today, which, you do this and you have instant, you do this, like you pre-order a game. It's like pre-ordering a game. You do this, we'll throw in this absolutely free. Now, from what I was told earlier, I do old games. I do old games more than I do new games. The only reason why I do old games more than I do new is because the lack of knowledge. That's all I'm doing it for. And for people who aren't aware of how many games the Nintendo, the Genesis, the Master System, the Atari, and or any other console had out there, or they never, tried playing, I'm just doing something that, not many people would actually do, and that's share whatever knowledge I know of the past to a future. And not many gamers could actually do that because, sign of the times. I can say this. There's nothing wrong with playing an old game. No, really, there's nothing wrong with playing an old game. And sadly, I do not look down at, I don't look down at any game. Be it old or new. And, I'm showing respect for the old as well as, going with the times. I'm not going against the times. I'm showing respect to older games. Nintendo is really the oldest company around as far as video games are concerned. As far as anything is concerned, basically Nintendo has been around. And I do not mind the fact that I'm playing something old. 'Cause I'll tell you one thing. You know, back in the day when I was, you know, young, growing up, you had two parents, working hard to support me as I was just, in school. And, if I did good, I was rewarded. So, therefore, it was a good thing. And I feel, the one thing that I actually did, strangely, the one thing I did mostly was I played video games after hours. Well, namely after I did my homework. Back then, after hours was doing homework. So, when I did do my homework, I played my video games. Funny thing is, my folks, when I was a kid, they used to play video games, and all they played was Pac-Man. And I'm pretty sure people have heard this before, but for those who are new and just join my channel, welcome. My folks played Pac-Man on the old Atari. I believe it was a 7800, and back then we only had two. Well, back then we did have only two consoles. One was what I worked on to help me learn math and all that, which was a Texas Instruments, a TI 1000, and technically, while my folks played Pac-Man, I was on the Texas Instruments long before. So we were a game savvy family. It changed as soon as as the years went by. And I remember when my birthday came around in '85, my actual first console was an NES. It would have been, very enjoyable had I not had Echolania. And you're probably wondering, what does this have to do with what I'm talking about? Well, let me tell you. If you were anybody back in the 80s, the Nintendo was the thing. The Nintendo Entertainment System was the thing you have to have. I mean, the thing about me was, growing up, I didn't really have that many games. It was only later when I grew up that I got, a few games. But other than that, just not much. But it takes a lot for one man to actually, care so much about, the fans. As Hamachi did. kind of like my family. You know, they care about me. They only want what's best for me, and I appreciate it. You know, but they wouldn't want me to, stop doing what I'm doing just because they believe, they believe, what I'm doing is for what I'm doing is for a greater good. Even though I don't think they understand it, they understand what I'm doing, and the fact that what I'm doing is for a greater good. For a man to actually help a company that basically brought it up from a trading card company to probably the most powerful video game company ever known. Because from 1928 to now, Nintendo has by far never failed us in what mattered, which was making games. Regardless of what console it was for, whether it was for the NES, the SNES, the Game Boy Advance, the N64, the Game Boy Advance, the GameCube, the Wii, and even now with the Wii U. Nintendo has never failed its fans. And yeah, we're going to look past the Virtual Boy. We are actually going to look past the Virtual Boy because, it was the only... they had a few misses, but they had more hits than anything. And that's one thing that you have to admit about Nintendo. They had a strong third-party relations, whereas compared to any other console back then, back then, even with the Sega Master System out and the Game Gear, for what it was worth, you weren't disappointed with Nintendo. But as times change, so does the age of video games. I feel, as a gamer, even in this day and age, we should not look down. We should not look down on games such as these. It's like, I should be with the times. I am with the times, really. I mean, there are games that I wish was really on Steam. There are games that I really wish that were on Steam as well as they were in, the past consoles of generation and even now. Like I wish Dragon's Dogma was on Steam, but apparently it's not. And if it was on, Steam, I would play it. I will play it through first and then LP it. And I kid you not, it would have been, there are some games these days that should be on Steam. Real good games, not just the overblown hype ones, but there should be, the ones that are not so overblown and not so hype. But Nintendo as a company has been there for the fans ever since. I still believe, they are kind of like the antithesis to what Capcom is now. Or say EA. Or any company that just doesn't think about the fans anymore. But they only think about the money. I think the only company that I feel that was like Nintendo but didn't feel like it was Nintendo was Working Designs. Working Designs is probably one of the few companies I feel were somewhat people friendly. I mean, if it was, it was people friendly because, they answered back to their fans. And I feel that companies these days, even though I'm probably going to get something objective to this, but I feel that companies should value what their fans think about their games. Like, say for instance, I'll take for instance a game that we in the RCO is actually playing on and off, which is Mercenary Kings. Now, it's an early access game. So there are a lot of bugs that are in it, and they would like some feedback. And companies like that should be like, what independent companies are doing. So, it's you should listen to what the fans think, and how should you make this game better, or what would you want us to change if there is something of that nature. I would say, if there are some mess ups, some graphical glitches or something like that, yeah, fix it. So, fix it to where, it wouldn't be messed up in-game wise or something like that. And on that note, multiplayer wise, yeah, it should be about, we shouldn't have no kind of lag of any sort if we do multiplayer. But these days, in this day and age, it's all about money. It's all about the hype. It's all about, trying to be better because it's a dog-eat-dog world. And the dog-eat-dog world, you have to be ruthless or else. You have to be ruthless in order to get your way. Or otherwise, you have to make the hype work. You have to use every social avenue you can in order to get your point across. And it's a shame. It's really a shame. I might be wrong, and like I said, I'm just sharing my thoughts here. But you need to have people who can just, adhere to, what what the people want, because the gaming world is a big commodity out there. Because you got those out there who say, oh, I want to get this console because it has this game coming out. I want to have this console because this game is coming out. I want to have this console because of this coming out. And this coming out. And let's play this. Feels like Plinko. But anyway, as I was saying before, in this world, the cutthroat have to, you have to be cutthroat. In the modern day working world, you have to be cutthroat in order to make it. You have to stand up on your own 2 feet. You have to speak up, and you basically have to man up in order to make it in the modern day working world. No matter what job you might have, you're going to have to man up. And to stop sniveling and whining, and let your point be made. It's the same thing in the gaming universe. You have to enjoy what you play and defend that. Because I'm one of those people who enjoy what I play. It doesn't matter, the age. Because like I said, I might get ridiculed out of this, and really, I don't give a fuck. Because I'm doing what I enjoy doing, which is playing a video game. I'm playing a video game because it's simple. It takes my mind off the pressures of the outside world. That's what a video game is for. And, gamers need to remember, a video game is for fun. It's just to take, the hassles of, the outside world. Just to take the outside just to take away the hassles of what you got to deal with on the outside. And that's one thing that, just like sucker in there. It's just like that, I believe. I also feel in my heart, and I am speaking from my heart, that should it matter what someone else is playing? I mean, we're all gamers here, so should it matter? Should it matter that, I'm playing something old or new? I mean, since when did age actually meant any goddamn thing to begin with? I'm playing a game that's about 30 years old. That's the thing, I'm playing a game which is 30 years old, but I still enjoy it. It's like me playing something. It's like me playing something from the something new, and you hear some words that kind of like it kind of puts you in sync of what's important. You never grow old. I mean, you can grow up, but don't grow old. Not to the point in which you consider one thing which you yourself used to enjoy back in the day, and now ridicule. I'm saying this. I'm sharing this because it has to be said. And if I am off topic, then it's for a reason. So therefore, don't be judgmental. Just please listen. I'm just sharing what I have to say. And it'd be nice if I was, for some reason, that I was playing something old. It wouldn't matter, because there are people who still play something off the Game Boy Advance or Sega Genesis or whatnot. And in a way, we are supporting, we are still supporting those who are in companies, certain companies like, Sega or Nintendo or Sony or whatever. Plus, I like playing video games. There's nothing wrong with me playing, video game or new video game. Nothing wrong at all. So to my people out there, and you know who you are, could you ever grow so old as to forget, oh yeah, to which you would just self-hate something that you yourself once enjoyed? I know if I were a little older and I had children and they would just say, why are you playing that, Dad, or Grandpa? Why am I playing something like this? I said, well, let me tell you. I can ask you the same thing. Why are you playing something like that? Are you judging me because I'm old? Or perhaps you're ashamed? That's a good question to ask. As I am just still playing this game, a pinball. But to Nintendo, this rant or tribute or whatever it is was for you. For deep down, I am a gamer. And will continue to be a gamer. Regardless. So therefore, I myself am personally respecting the old as well as the new. And I feel most of us should take a moment to pay respects. In which that's what I'm doing right now, which is paying my respect to Nintendo by actually playing a Nintendo game that was done by a third party, because Nintendo had a lot of third party companies helping them out. So with that, I think I've said all I need to say because there's a lot that I really wanted to get off my chest as far as the gamer goes. So hopefully when this video is processed or when I play it back, I hope everything is on there regardless of what I say or not. So hopefully it is, so I can hear myself say it and other people. But anyway, Hiroshi Yamauchi, you've lived from 1928 to 2013. I, as a gamer, salute your work. It's a shame you died the way you did. But at least now, we can only pray that the next president will somehow guide Nintendo to where it should be. Or to where it should be. To where it's going and should head off to. Most likely, it should be in the right direction. So with that, I've been the Tenkaichi of gaming. And this was a bit of a perspective of video games. And a remembrance video for Nintendo's third president, Hiroshi Yamauchi. Thank you for watching, and I shall see you next time.